folks, Pottery Point Customs here. So this is my Husqvarna. It's a 10.5 horsepower, 30-inch snowblower. I bought this probably close to 15 years ago. For the last 4 years, it's been sitting in my barn, tucked away in the corner. Since the last video I did on it, I have a ATV with a plow on it, my Bombardier Quest 650, so I've been using that, and before that my old Ford 8N farm tractor to do the plowing duties. But what I want to do is go over this and see if we can get it going today. A few things I've noticed is both tires are pretty much flat. Taking a look at the fuel shut off, I'd actually left the fuel on, so you always want to make sure you turn that off when you're storing it. There is some fuel in it, and when you take a sniff of the fuel, it does smell a little funky. It doesn't smell like fresh fuel. One thing I did do while it was stored is I did spray it with a fine coat of oil, as you can see right there. It is a little dirty though. Over the years, this hasn't seen a ton of use. It does have a little bit of wear from the gravel in the driveway. However, I coat that in oil all the time when I am using it with a rust check. Taking a look at all the controls, when I did roll it out of the barn, the steering controls seem to be still working. This disengages each tire, so it makes it a lot easier to roll or turn. Let's take a look at the oil. And it should be nice and clean. It's right on the full mark. Now, I did say there is some fuel in there. I'm not sure when it was stored. Again, this is probably 4 years ago if I did put fuel stabilizer in it or not. So let's assume that I didn't. Just check where the spark plug's at. Make sure everything's nice and connected. Sometimes when you're storing stuff in barns and whatnot, you'll get some mice and stuff. They'll like to make little nests up in areas such as this, or in around the exhaust, or anywhere where they can get into, and this looks nice and clean as far as that. Okay, we're going to try to pull over the engine. Not going to try to start it, but I just want to make sure it pulls freely. Yep. Alright, so what I want to do is do a true cold start of this snowblower after 4 years. So I'm going to keep the existing gas in it. Rather than breaking my arm, we're going to use the electric start. There we go. I was actually quite amazed on how quick that started. Now, if I tried to use the pull start, I'd probably be pulling it for about 20 minutes or so. So without the electric start, my arm would be half broken. So that made it 1,000 times easier. Now that was a true cold start of the old snowblower sitting around for about 4 years in the barn. What I would do next time is make sure you have Supreme fuel in it with fuel stabilizer. Make sure you run the carb dry till it stalls out with the fuel turned off. And again, make sure it's got fresh oil in it for the motor and covered and rust checked. That just helps prevent any damage to the paint, such as rust and oxidization with the temperature changes. Also too, for long-term storage, some people will actually drain the fuel system completely out of it. Pleasantly surprised that it's starting on the first attempt. So the reason I'm going to keep this around is, even though I have a four-wheeler with a plow on it, I want a backup option if I have issues with a four-wheeler. So this is my backup option. That's long-term. I'll keep this till it's a rust bucket and no longer works, and then I'd probably end up getting another one. So they're good and reliable. Back in the day when I had bought this, I paid a little bit more than the off-brand or the Canadian Tire versions of the Husqvarna or whatnot. So it was certainly worth all its money. I may end up doing another video on doing some maintenance on a snowblower. If anybody's interested, make sure you let me know in the comments below, such as maintenance on it. We're going to put some air in the tires. We're going to change the oil, potentially drain the gas, put fresh gas in, and some stuff that you should check over on snowblowers for regular maintenance. So again, if you're interested in that, let me know and we'll go through all the cables, adjusting them, greasing them, and so on. So again, this was just a cold start video on the Husqvarna that's been sitting in the barn for 4 years. Make sure you post any comments, suggestions below. If not, thanks for watching. Remember to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Take care.